Hi everyone, my name is Eric and I am a scientific programmer at CCT Data Science at University of Arizona, and I'm going to do a quick demo about how to make your own R package pretty easily with the help of another R package called usethis. Why would you want to make an R package? Well, it doesn't have to be something fancy. It doesn't have to be destined for CRAN someday. This could be something really simple, like some little utility functions that you've written for yourself in R, and you just want to be able to install them easily on any computer you're working on or share them with collaborators. Or maybe you have a data set that you think would be useful for other people to use. Or maybe some analysis code that you've written for a paper, you want to turn it into some functions that other people could use, and we can do that pretty darn easily. So usethis is a package that has a bunch of functions that help you automate stuff. So we're going to get started with loading that package. I already have it installed, and we're going to make a new package with create_package. And I'm just going to put it on my desktop. So we have to give it a path, desktop, and I'm going to call it test package. And when I hit enter, it's going to do a whole bunch of things. It's going to automate creating the directory, creating some files in that directory, even kind of filling those files out. So description is a file that's required for an R package. Namespace, a bunch of other stuff that's required. And it's actually going to open up a new R session for me, which opened in my other window here, but I will bring it over here. So there it is, test package, our brand new R package, skeleton of an R package. So it has this description file, which has some things for us to fill out. So you would want to, fill out your information in here. And you see here that this license field is blank, and it says you can use MIT license or friends to pick a license. So that's one of the things we'll do first. So we're in a new R session, so we got to load usethis again. And we're going to use _MIT license. So this is going to, it's going to edit our description here. I didn't save those because I forgot to save them. We can fix that in a second if we want to. But it edits our description here to say that it's an MIT license, and it creates a license file in our files here. We also want a README, so we can say use README, and it creates a README for us. And it gives us some stuff to fill in here where we would put a basic example of how to use this package, some information about what the package even does and how to install it. What else? What else do we need? News. We want a file to keep track of changes to our package as we develop it. So we can use _news_md to create a news.md document. What else might we want to do? We probably want to, at some point, write tests for our package. And there's a great R package called test that will help you test your functions that you write in your R package. Use _test that sets up all the infrastructure for that. It edits our description file again so that we have it down here in the suggests section. And it creates a tests folder with the test that folder in it. And it even tells us what we need to do if we want to create a test. So we don't actually have any functions in this R package yet, but let's say we had one that we wanted to test. My fun for my function, right? Whatever your function is called, you would use test, the name of your function, and it's going to create a file here for you to create some unit tests using the test that package. And, it runs. So we can actually use this run tests button here, and it'll say all our tests are passing because 2 times 2 equals 4. So we would want to change those and all that. But yeah, so we can do that really easily. Now, we might also want to track the development of this project using Git, which is a version control system that we have other videos on this channel explaining what Git is. And we have workshops often about that, but we can use Git. And this will initialize this as a Git repository. It'll create a git ignore so that it makes sure we don't accidentally commit some sensitive information or sort of unnecessary files. And it asks us if we want to make our first commit. And I say yes. And it's going to tell me it needs to restart our studio. That's fine. It's going to do that for me. And now that our studio has restarted, we have this git pane here. And we can make some changes or whatever and commit them. Okay, and so this package probably isn't super useful if it's just on Git. You probably also want to share it with people through GitHub rather than just tracking it on your local computer. So we can do that with use_GitHub. And this will automatically create a repository on GitHub for you. If you don't have your computer set up to connect to GitHub, it's going to prompt you to do some stuff first, probably. And that's all helpers that are in the use this package. I've got it set up. So yeah, it's going to tell me there's an uncommitted file because it has actually edited this to point to the GitHub repository it just created. And I'll say, yes, it's okay to commit that. And it is going to pull up my new GitHub repository. That's my GitHub username and our test package. We've got all our files in here and our README. So now that it's on GitHub, you can actually install this if you want, and I can fill in these installation instructions. So go back to our README, and we can install this now with the remotes package, install _GitHub, and then the username, GitHub username, and the name of the GitHub repository, which in this case is the same as the name of our package. All right, we can commit that. And we can push that, and we can see, oops, this way. We can see if I reload this, now there's some installation instructions there, right? Now, we talked about tests, and we can test them on our computer, but I've got a Mac, and what if you have a Windows machine and something doesn't work on there? Well, we can set things up so that these tests that we write and all the checks for is it a valid R package, all that runs on GitHub in the cloud on different types of machines very easily with use_GitHub action, GitHub actions. So actions there. And if we run that, we'll see that it's creating a bunch of files for us. This .github folder that has inside of it a workflows, that has inside of it this rcommandcheck.yaml folder. We don't have to edit any of that. All we have to do is commit this. And also it edited our README to add a badge, very fancy. And if we hit commit here, and now we push this up to GitHub, sorry for the disorientation there, we can see we've got our badge, and it says our command check is passing. And so now what happens is anytime we make changes, we have this our command check action running, testing our changes on, in this case, it's using a Linux machine, but you can also set up more intense, whoa, it's doing a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna go away from there. You can also do more sort of intense GitHub actions, like check full. And this is going to, or check standard rather. This is gonna check your tests on Windows, on Linux, on Mac, on old computers, new computer, new versions of R, old versions of R, and all that. Another cool thing we can do is if we want to know how good our tests are, we can use coverage. This sets this thing called Code Cove up, and it'll tell you what percentage of the code that you've written is tested in your tests. It also edits the badges, adds a cool badge in there, and adds a GitHub action so that stuff runs, again, automated in an automated way. there is a ton of great stuff in this use this package for you to set up very quickly all the infrastructure you need for an R package. And then really what's left to do is put some R code in this R folder that is now empty. Put some functions in there. And that will have to save for a longer format workshop. And so I'll leave it there. And if you're interested in this and you're interested in learning how to set up an R package, build an R package for yourself so that other people can install it, let us know in the comments and we can create a longer format workshop on this topic. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching.